I had gone to the dentist for a routine cleaning, and I told the dentist that I had noticed I had a small bump on the roof of my mouth. He thought it was just a minor infection of the salivary gland, so I didn't worry about it. A few months later, the tumor was getting bigger and bigger. But because I was so absorbed in what was going on with my pregnancy, it really wasn't a priority. Then when my daughter was born in July of 2002, by this time it was probably about the diameter of a centimeter on the roof of my mouth, which is pretty big. And I went back to the dentist, and he opened up my mouth and he said, "What is that?" And I said, "That is the infection that I had before I was pregnant." And he sent me to an oral surgeon up the block, and the oral surgeon looked very concerned, and he called the local hospital, and they said you had to biopsy it right away. And I heard the word biopsy, and I started hyperventilating. It was very frightening. But they wanted me to see this surgeon at a hospital on Long Island because it had to come out. Regardless, it had to come out because of where it was. And my mother called me about 3 weeks later and said, "It's unacceptable that you haven't heard from this doctor." My mom's a very pushy woman. And so she called the doctor. The doctor says, "By the way, you have a malignancy." And I was like, I was in a state of shock. I ran into the bathroom. My husband came in after me, and we just cried. My daughter was sleeping in her crib, and we just cried and cried and cried. And I became like a child. I didn't know what to do. I turned to my mother, and I remember just saying, "Take care of it." And she got on the phone and called everybody. She hired a medical researcher. She demanded my slides from the hospital. She sent them all over the country. You name it, she sent them there to try and get a correct diagnosis. December 4th, 2002 was the date of my surgery, and I remember saying to my mother, "Make sure whoever takes care of Tess really loves her." And she said, "We all love Tess." After a few days, I got out of the bed, and I remember the nurse and my mother saying to me, "It's not going to stay this way." My smile wasn't normal. It was very lopsided. I didn't look like myself. And I remember saying to my mother, "I'm never going to get over this. And she said, "You will. It gets better. It just takes time. You think that it's never going to end, and it ends." And when I woke up in ICU, the nurses, I guess my husband had given them this picture of her. This is Tess. This is when she was a little munchkin. She's 10 now. And every day when the doctors came in to see me, they would say, "How you feeling?" And I would touch the picture and I'd say, "I want to go home. I want to go home to my baby." So I just kept looking at her face. I've been cancer-free for 10 years. Actually, today is my official remission date, December 4th. So it's 10 years today. And now what?